Hey, here's something you probably don't know. When I got out of the military at the end of the 90s, I almost became what today would be part of ICE. Yeah. I applied to be a dog handler for US Customs, which at the time was a pretty cherry gig. It was completely separate from what is now ICE and Homeland Security and all the rest of that shit. It was you my job would have been to interdict drugs coming in over the southern border with a drug dog, and it was legit. You weren't doing like low level drug buys, popping some 13-year-old for selling crack in an inner city. You were stopping thousands of pounds of cocaine and marijuana and hundreds of pounds of heroin from coming into the country. So, I was like, I applied to it and went through a couple of rounds of the hiring process, but then it became increasingly obvious that if I got hired, I was going to go to Texas, and I didn't want to go to Texas. I wanted to stay in California, but no one wanted to work in Texas. So all the new guys, when they got hired, they had to start in Texas. So I just kind of dropped it off. The reason I did this is because I spent 4 months working with U.S. Customs in El Paso the last year that I was in, doing the aforementioned drug interdiction on the border. And it was fun. It was fun. Found a shit ton of drugs, stopped some looted artifacts, some Aztec and Mayan artifacts from coming in. It was a great deployment, and I got to know the guys working at customs, and through them, the guys working at what was then Immigration and Naturalization Services (INS), and even some Border Patrol guys. The Border Patrol guys were a little bit more, ate up, but also most of them were either Native American or of Mexican descent. Admittedly, a lot of the families had been in the country for at least 3 or 4 generations, sometimes going back even further than that. But it wasn't personal for them. It was just a job. You catch people coming across the border, you give them some water, you take them back in, you process them. Some of them went back to Mexico. Some of them were ticketed and released, and some of them got an asylum claim. And the INS guys, well, this is what they told me. I don't know. They didn't have any particular reason to lie to me at the time. That a lot of times when they did one of their big immigration raids, it's because they got a complaint that the American in the situation was being super shitty, was like paying the illegal immigrants like basically slave wages. So somebody would tip them off. They'd go in, do a raid, arrest some of the immigrants, most of whom would be released with a ticket and a court date, give the American company a token fine because capitalism, and that would be the end of it. Yeah, they busted smugglers and things like that, but mostly it was pretty benign. And so I'd be retired by now, most likely, or be super high up that I wouldn't be, in charge of shit. So the thought that I might have been ICE has been on my mind of late for reasons you might understand. And you're probably asking yourself, why did ICE become what it is when it used to be INS and customs and all that sort of stuff? And it was 9/11. 9/11 fucked everything up. And they combined INS and customs, which really didn't make any fucking sense to me, because customs jobs is mostly just making sure some paperwork is done. Only like the guys with dogs and things doing border checks had any real law enforcement obligations. But, that's the government for you. And over the years since then, it's become, well, like any other police organization, shittier and shittier. But yeah, in a different world, I won't say that I would have been out there on the streets of Minneapolis, because I don't think I would have ever been that person. But who knows? I might have been the guy who sent them out there. No regrets. No. Pretty happy that wasn't the path that I chose.